while you're actually starting and also finishing your meal. But I want to introduce the president of Hope College, Matt Scogan. He's here to give us some words of welcome.
Thanks, David. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't been before, let me say on behalf of, by the way, I should have said this at the beginning. My name is Matt Scogan. I serve as the president of Hope College. And on behalf of the Hope College community, welcome. Welcome to, technically this is the Western Seminary campus, but ours is all over. It's kind of all combined, really. So welcome to Hope College. Welcome to Western Seminary. Welcome to the Department of Corrections and the Muskegon folks here who are from the Muskegon facility. I hope you know this. We are so proud of this program. We're so grateful for this program. And hopefully you share this. I think the way we see this is that hopefully it's a very good experience for the students themselves. I hope you feel like it's also a very good thing for the correctional facility. There's lots of research showing that this is good for safety and culture in prison communities, and hopefully you're seeing that. What I want you to hear from me is simply that we believe this is very, very good for our campus. The faculty who have been teaching in the prison find this to be an incredibly fulfilling thing. And we've had faculty say, like, I've never had a class that was this vibrant. I've never had a group of students that was this engaged. And so our faculty have really found this to be a very, very important and fulfilling experience. And our students, I think, would say the same. By the way, we have 3 presidents in the room. So we have Felix, who you'll hear from in a second, who's the president of the seminary, and then Helen Weston, who's the student body president of Hope College. And Helen, I think you would say, right, the students at Hope are proud that we have this program and feel pretty cool that they have classmates who are in the Muskegon prison. So this has been just a gift all the way around, and that's my perspective, and hopefully all of you feel the same. So. Thank you very much for being here. Felix, I'll toss it off to you and let you say a couple words of welcome also.
Thank you, President Scogan. And on behalf of Western Theological Seminary, I also want to extend a warm welcome to everyone from Hope College and as well as from the Department of Correction. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I know it's a big commitment out of your schedule. We really appreciate you being here. I echo what Matt said. I want to express and assure you of just our strong enthusiasm and support for the Hope Western Prison Education Program. I think I can think of 3 things as to why our commitment is so strong. I think number 1 is simply the right thing to do. Now, as people of followers of Jesus Christ, we are reminded, Christ reminds us that those who have been forgiven much love much. And we as Christians know firsthand what it means to have been forgiven much. And to be able to extend that forgiveness, the grace that we have ourselves experienced to others, to extend that love, mercy, and to bring hope and promise to others is at the core of who we are and why we are here. So investing in the Hope Western Prison Education Program and seeing the joy and the excitement that our students have every time I see them, it's simply the right thing to do. Secondly, sometimes you do things because you see the sacrifices, efforts, and energy that good people are putting in to make the program go. So when I see Rich Ray, when I see David Stubbs, when I see Pam Bush and others, the time and the energy and the effort that they give to this program. When I meet with the warden and with Kyle and with others from the correctional facility, and I can only imagine the complication and the complexity that you have to navigate to let us commoners come, people who don't quite understand the rules, and you have to protect us. And just for me to go from one place to another, you have to make sure that somebody is with me because I'm probably going to do something really wrong. We feel like, sometimes I feel like, I worry we're adding a burden to all of you. But yet you are so gracious and you welcome us and you invite us to come and really you are so incredibly hospitable. And so sometimes we do things because we see that you all are giving your efforts and energy to making these things go. And therefore we also respond in kind. And then finally, sometimes you do things because you see that it is better for our community and our society. And I hope that you have, as Matt said, seen that firsthand, that if even as these students are in our classes, I hope that you have seen how they have brought their joy and impacted the correctional facility in a positive way. And we trust that they will continue to make a positive impact. And we entrust them to our good God, that wherever they go after they graduate from Hope Western, the program, as they leave the correctional facilities, that they will continue to bear proud testimonies because of what they have experienced through this program. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to partner with you. And I hope, I was asking David earlier, from me, from the outside looking in, it is incredibly inspiring and motivating. I hope that's true for all of you as well at the Department of Correction. Thank you. Kyle, welcome.
Thank you very much. And just to start out with an introduction, I am Kyle Kaminsky. I'm the Offender Success Administrator for the Michigan Department of Corrections. So I oversee the department's efforts when it comes to education, prisoner programming, reentry, and some other things. I also work in the director's office and manage a lot of our strategic relationships and our strategic objectives. First, I'd like to start out by saying thank you to both presidents for your hospitality today. For me personally, this is my first time visiting either of your campuses, and they were impressive. And we got a tour of many of the physical spaces and some great history and explanation of how the physical spaces were actually designed to really further learning, further a sense of community, and that's really cool. It's got some things going in my head. But even more than the physical spaces, the sense of community and the sense of openness, as we met a number of your staff along the way, some that were involved in this program, well, most, I guess, that were involved in this program, but also some that aren't involved in this program, and their interest and their support for what's happening at Muskegon Correctional Facility was really impressive. And so I think it's a testament to both of your leadership and the communities that you've created here, that it was such a wonderful experience for us as we got to tour around and really engage with the folks at your schools. Talking just briefly kind of about the department's vision. I am here as on behalf of Director Washington. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, but hopefully maybe we'll have an opportunity in the future for her to come over and see this. But the research is clear, and it's been clear for a long time. The single most effective way to reduce recidivism is education. Like, that's not even really a question mark. That's what the research says. And yet, for a variety of reasons, and this isn't a Michigan thing, this isn't even a national thing, this is kind of an international thing in many ways, for a variety of reasons, prisons are one of the last places that educational opportunities seem to reach. And we have done a lot of work as a department for many years with our academic programs, with our career and technical education programs, to provide whatever opportunities we could within the environment that we operate. But we were missing a really key component, which is access to post-secondary education. And so we were excited. We were one of the first states that kind of got to dip our toe back into this a few years ago. And then it has grown from there. And now we're on the precipice of something really significant with Pell Grants coming back this year, which is kind of exciting because for a couple years I've said Pell Grants are coming back in 2023, and now it's 2023. So we're finally there. But with that, it kind of places even more of a burden on us as a department, but also our partners and some strategic goals that we have. And so just briefly kind of talking through some of the things that we're working on and want to continue to work on. We want to strengthen our existing relationships, like we have with Hope and Western and a number of other schools. And by strengthening, I mean making sure that those programs have firm, ongoing foundations within our facilities so that they can continue, hopefully forever, but at least as long as anybody who's in this room is around, we can see them continue. We'd love to see where it makes sense for them to expand a little bit. That might mean adding additional students at a facility, or it might mean kind of adopting a second facility or a third facility, depending on where schools are at in terms of their ability to support. We also, though, look forward to welcoming a number of new partners. And we've been talking to a number of schools from around the state, all different types, 2 years, 4 years, private, public. And so we're really enthusiastic. And one of the goals that we have is we want to expand the geography of our offerings. We have 26 correctional facilities. They're all around the state. There's 6 in the UP, 20 in the Lower Peninsula. Many of them already have programs, but many don't. And so we want to make sure that we have programs at as many sites as possible. With that expansion, though, one of the things that's really important to us is maintaining quality and actually increasing quality. And so I think that's the other goal that we have, particularly on the education team, and I'm joined by some of my folks today, is how do we continuously kind of shrink the gap between what the experience is like for your students here at Western or your students across the sidewalk at Hope and the students at a facility like MCF. The truth is they'll never be exactly the same. We understand that. I think everybody in the room understands that. But where can we make those incremental steps so that the college experience is, beneficial and really experienced by everybody? We can all think back to our time in college. Some of us probably remember sitting in a classroom, doing a specific assignment, doing a specific reading. But a lot of us probably remember a lot of aspects of college that were not that. They were about maturing. They were about finding your place, finding who you were. Our students, the incarcerated students, need those opportunities as well. And so ways to strengthen community, ways to provide a more robust college experience is going to be really relevant. And then the last thing, and we talked about it a few times when we were touring today, is for a program like this, your mission is a little different than some of our other programs. Your willingness to work with those who are serving life sentences or long sentences, the mission, the major that you're teaching them in, it's about impacting community while recognizing that for some folks, their community will be a correctional facility. And so we want to make sure that we don't lose that. There will be other schools that have different missions and different offerings, and that's great too. And what we really want to reach is a point where students, and my staff hears me say this all the time, I want to reach a point where the question to students is not college, yes or no, it's college, what do you want to experience? What do you want to study, and what do you want your outcome to be? Most of us, I'm guessing, even if we didn't know what our major was, even if we changed our major 5 times once we got there, we had a sense of where we wanted to go and why. We didn't just say, yeah, I want to go to college, and then pick a name out of a hat. And so I think that's where we want to get to as well with our offering. So we're excited. We're grateful for the partnerships. We're grateful for all the staff at the 2 schools that make this program run. It was really a treat getting to meet some of the people behind the scenes, like the library staff, and I think that was really wonderful to see how many people it takes to make a program like this really work on a day-to-day basis. And so with that, I think I'm handing it back to David.
Thank you, Kyle. That's really wonderful. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, Kyle. It really is a three-legged stool that we have here that takes a lot of people to make it happen, as well as perhaps a fourth stool. The people from the community and even our circle of advisors are here, and there's so many people at Hope and Western and in the larger community that it really takes to make this happen. So grateful to have representatives from all those groups here. This feels like an important day because Warden Schiebner keeps on inviting us into his home all the time. So it's really nice to be able to extend the welcome back. And thank you for taking time out of your schedules, coming from all the way from Lansing as well, to spend a couple hours with us too. I wanted to, as part of our family meal together here, I wanted to tell a family story. Just a little bit about the history, highlights, and aspirations of the program. I have about 13 slides. Hopefully this won't take too long, but it's, I think, good to just kind of tell the story a little bit about how we've gotten to this luncheon right here. So the beginning of our program, really, the seed was planted in spring 2017. I just took a little image from this conference that took place here at Hope College. It was actually the thought of it came from an inmate in the Calvin Prison Initiative program who was a pen pal with a Hope College professor here. And the inmate, Eric Baltazar, I think it's fine to share his name, but he said, hey, I want to host a conference on restorative justice. Right? and his pen pal said, oh, okay, we'll support that, but you have to do the work. And somehow it happened. And through that, there was a conference. I think they were expecting about 30 or 40 people, but I believe between 200 and 300 people came. It was a real success here at Hope College. From that, I wasn't here. I was off on sabbatical someplace. But I came back the next fall. And I remember back in Lubbers Hall that you visited, there was a group of about 20 faculty members from Hope and Western that were getting together and saying, hey, if Calvin can do it, we can do it better. And
who's better last night?
So from those conversations, there was I ended up thinking they were looking for somebody, it's like, yeah, we want to do, but who's, dumb enough to take this on? And I raised my hand. And soon enough, Jared Ortiz was also talking to Rich Ray at that time, and Rich and I met over at the center, getting to know one another, and said, okay, maybe we can do this. We could be co-directors and get this thing going. That was the beginning, and a number of conversations began to take place after that. That was the seeds planted and the seed grows, Calvin Prison Initiative. So one of the first things that that both Rich and I did separately and then together was get in contact with Todd Shafi, actually David Rylersdam, who was kind of behind the beginning of the Calvin program as well, and a number of people who were there. We ended up flying down. That's a little picture of Louisiana State Penitentiary. Rich and I went down with some of the people at Calvin, and we went to a conference down there and got to know kind of players in a lot of prison education programs from around the states and internationally. Spent about a number of days in the Louisiana State Penitentiary, which is a really crazy place. It's amazing. And so we began to have conversations. Eventually, you'll see Director Washington there as well as Kyle Kaminsky. I remember coming in. Rich and I got an invite to come and talk to you guys, actually through Todd Shafi's introduction. And so we had a little 20-page document. We didn't know who Kyle and Director Washington were, but we came in there and started to talk, and I was pleasantly surprised to find a real goodwill and openness to this kind of program. And then it took a little while to convince people at Hope and Western to get on board. It was, I remember that. And partially because we were going through a lot of presidential transitions. And so Matt and Felix weren't even on the scene at that point. So we were talking to people here at Hope and Western. A lot of conversations started. And I went actually to West Virginia for a week in a prison there, got some training through the Inside Out program, and getting to know people there. And soon enough, in December 2018, our first MRU was signed by Heidi Washington, Dennis Voskel, and Tim Brown. That was kind of exploratory in 2018. These pictures, that's Warden Sherry Burt and Deputy Warden Daryl Stewart, who were our the first leaders at Muskegon Correctional Facility that we got to know. And we talked to Director Washington, and we thought we were going to E.C. Brooks for some reason, and she says, no, you need to go to Muskegon Correctional Facility. And so we ended up there, and we ended up offering classes that started in the spring 2019 as part of this pilot program. And we were offering one class at a time through those years. And here's a nice quote from one of the students that was at the bottom of one of their evaluation forms. He said, if for any reason you wonder about the impact that this program is having, let me be the first to say this is life-changing for all of us here at Muskegon Correctional Facility. It has even changed the dynamic of the relationship with my own family. I feel a sense of purpose now because I am only one of 6 of my parents' children to ever attend any form of college. Thank you is not enough. And we certainly got the bug. And eventually, all our institutions got the bug as well, and we began to start the program. Finally, after many conversations, much negotiation, so many pieces that need to be in place, we started in fall 2021, and the Bachelor of Arts program actually begins to where students are gaining college credit. Up the top, we have Warden Schiebner, Deputy Warden Clutie, as well as Corrections Officer Boskell right there, we're getting to know all the corrections officers in Muskegon Correctional Facility and been really impressed with how helpful they've been, and it's been really wonderful. That's our first cohort of guys there too. So we were doing through the pilot program one class at a time. We had a number of classes lined up for that fall. COVID struck. We scaled back to one, which was a really good thing. It was not an easy semester to kind of make things happen during COVID. But this year we have 5 courses per semester. Next fall we're going to be offering 11 courses per semester. The following year it's going to be 12 or 13. That's where we top off, and for our program at least envisioned at this point. We have program accreditation site visit completed, so we're fully certified through the Higher Learning Commission. We have really created a living learning community among our students there. They're not simply taking classes, but they really have, and part of this is really thanks to Pam Bush. I always forget to give all your titles and things like that, but who's our Associate Director of Learning Information. And through her work with the homeroom, as well as through the study halls, there's a real community of our guys that's being formed as well. And we got a Ready for Pell Grant received. That's been a wonderful burr in our saddle to kind of get us, get all the institutional frameworks in place. Because in order to get Pell Grants, we have to have our house in order. And so we've been getting our house in order through Hope and Western, and we're almost there. And also, kind of a last thing that's happened is we are getting tutors from the Calvin Prison Initiative program that are working with our students. Some of our students will, of course, get out when they get paroled, and we're starting a network to try and help them. But for the students who have life sentences, it's like we envision, and we've had conversations. How will they be useful inside the prison? And the Calvin Prison Initiative tutors who have come over and are now working with our students are an indication of what the future of our students might be as well. So that's a little bit of the history where we are. Just to restate the mission is that we really want to extend the Hope College and Western Theological Seminary missions to those in an incarcerated environment. We really do want to value kind of a parity between the kind of education that they receive on the Hope College campus as well as what they're, as much as possible, in the Muskegon Correctional Facility. We want to foster the transformation of the hearts and minds of prisoners and all involved in the program, thereby enlarging their imaginations for purposeful living as flourishing, beloved children of God, made in His image and likeness. I think there's so much that goes on in these guys' lives in the midst of this program. One of the key things is a real rethinking of their identity, about who they are. And it's really wonderful to see the changes. And also ease the burden to the community by reducing recidivism. That's a huge factor, too. Nationally, I love these statistics, 83% nationally, I believe. And with a bachelor's degree, there's an Emory study that says it goes down to 5.6%. It's amazing what education can do. And also bring together persons of goodwill from a variety of political, ideological, and theological perspectives. We came up with that fourth bullet point a while ago, and it feels like even more important today, right? A lot of reasons why people might be involved in this program. It's wonderful to have a program where people from all sorts of walks of life are really excited about it. Here is our leadership team. Rich and myself as co-directors. Pam is the Associate Director for Learning Information, and Amy Piesker is our newest member, who's the Director for Operations for us. But here is our support structure. So many people who are involved in this program, from our circle of advisors to our steering committee, circle of advisors, more community members that are helping us network and avenues of support and wisdom. Steering committee, that's more in-house. People, deans like Steve Maiulo and others who are kind of helping us to make sure that we don't make any missteps and help us to navigate the systems of Hope and Western. Donors and supporters, so important for our program. I don't know if I should share this or not, because I think we've surpassed the 1 million mark of how much money from the beginning of the program that we've raised to make this happen. But it's really wonderful because we do not take any tuition dollars from anybody here. And so at this point, until Pell Grants, it's only supported by donor dollars. Faculty and administration. Hope College Student Congress is part of the library staff. Financial aid staff have been fabulous in terms of getting ready for Pell. Media at Hope and Western. The Klooster Center for Writing. Tom Sir has been fabulous to try and get this up and running, as well as the network of reentry programs that Jim Alice is going to help us. We don't want to take our eye off the ball, and so Jim's going to help us as students begin to get paroled. He's going to navigate with the MDOC as well as local organizations to make sure that our students are well taken care of as when they walk out of those gates. So a lot of people involved in this. Thank you all. Cohort 1. Here's cohort 2. Cohort 3 is on the way. I believe yesterday was like the beginning of or this week. It's like we're starting the process of getting our third cohort in. Student stories, I won't read them all. How about that third one down there? I spent years before my incarceration destroying my life. The Hope Western program is helping me rebuild it. Whew. And look at that little stat at the bottom. 70% of our students made the dean's list this semester. Our future aspirations. Here's our last final slide. So this is what we have many aspirations, but among our leadership team, we have two mottos that often come. One is make sure that the main thing is the main thing. We have a lot of things that we can get sidetracked on. We want to make sure that the main thing is the main thing. Getting professors and textbooks up in front of our students so they can get a degree. So we're making sure that's the main thing. Our other motto is no unforced errors. We really want to be respectful of what goes on in the prison and all the security concerns that are necessary. And so we really want to make sure that we're good citizens as we enter into the prison. But those are kind of some of our mottos. But here's some of our aspirations. Hope College degree in 4 years. Major, faith, leadership, and service. 20 students in 4 cohorts. 80 full-time students drawing from 26 state prisons. Western Theological Seminary and Hope College professors to teach the courses. Utilize Western students as teaching assistants while utilizing inside graduates as tutors. And this is kind of in the works. It's been delayed, but still aspirational. A Western Certificate in Restorative Arts that will also involve Western outside students. And so this is for the future. But there are inside-out programs already in Michigan in different places, and we're hoping to be one of them as well. So thank you. You guys have, what is it? It take a tribe or a village or something like that. Here's our village, right? There's a lot that takes it to make it happen. And thank you all, for everybody in this room, for all your parts that you've played in this. And it's really wonderful to have, especially our MDOC guests here. So thank you, and we're really grateful. So thanks a lot. That's great. And the third president.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Helen Weston. I'm student body president at Hope College. I'm from Lansing, Michigan, and I'm a senior studying political science and sociology with an emphasis on criminal justice. So entering my senior year and also my presidency, this is something that I'm really interested in personally and educationally, but it was also an aspiration of mine as president and as a leader of the students. So this year, alongside the program, we've been trying to find ways of how can we bridge these two student groups? How can we bridge the gap between our Hope students, or our Holland campus students, and our Muskegon campus students? And that's been really exciting to kind of go on in that process on Student Congress and alongside the program. So kind of what we're doing so far is, thanks to the approval of the warden, we have created this monthly newsletter from Holland students to the Muskegon students, just kind of updating them on what is happening here. We've had testimonials from Holland students who are taking the same classes that they're taking in Muskegon of here's how I felt about that exam, and here are my study tips, for the next one. We also have rundowns from what is campus ministries doing, or here's a recap of the most recent basketball game. Maybe we won't talk about yesterday's basketball game, but maybe there's like a better one coming our way that we can kind of give a summary to. But just an opportunity to educate the Muskegon students on what is the other half of hope? Besides our classes, besides our professors and our leaders, here's what's happening in Holland. And we've heard so far that newsletter was received really well, and we're really excited about that to kind of continue to do that. We're in production of our January newsletter and hope to get that out really soon. And so that's just been a wonderful time to kind of think about who else is there in this Hope community that we haven't already thought about. And so that's kind of the greater desire of Student Congress in relation to the education program is, can we have our Holland students think about people beyond themselves and think about our other students who maybe look a little bit different than us and have lived a different life than us. but they are still loved and cherished by the same God, and they are as deserving as much grace as we have also received. And we're really excited with how that's going. We have some goals and some dreams kind of with this collaboration too. We'd really love to bring some greater advocacy and education to Hope's campus just about what is a education program and what are the benefits, or reentry programs or rehabilitation programs. Just to continue to open up the mind of these Holland students about our Muskegon students. So it's been really wonderful to work with the program and to learn about what's happening here and happening there. And I was lucky enough to attend, what was it, the convocation, yes, in the fall, and meet those students and to be able to tell them, hey, I'm your president too, and I'm here to serve you because you are a student as much as I am. The pilot students have been a Hope student as long as I have, and that's really cool to just kind of walk alongside them in that. So we're excited about the continuation of this relationship and just kind of where this program is going in general. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Helen. Well, that ends our formal program, and invite you to stay here, finish up your lunch if you wish, conversations, and again, if there's any way, especially for our MDOC folks, if there's anything that we can do to make, as you leave, if there's any way that we can be helpful, just let us know. But that is the end of our program. Thank you again, everybody, for coming, and we really appreciate the time together. And go in peace. Thanks.